This is Access 2019 Module05 Part 2. In this segment, we will be looking at creating a list of values criteria. Now, with a list of values criteria, excuse me, it needs to begin with the word in, and the list itself is within parentheses. Each individual item will be separated by commas. I like to remember that it begins with the word in because I'll tell myself it's in the list. So if it's a list, it needs to begin with the word in. The text value. If there are text values in your example, they need to be individually in quotes. You can see that each individual name, Decatur, Smyrna, and Stone Mountain, are individually within quotes. If it's numeric values in the list, those do not go in quotes. So let's get back into our clinic database, and we're ready to begin working with creating a query. So if we want to use an existing query as our starting point, we can click on 404 area code, do a right click, choose copy, then click somewhere on the pane and choose paste. Now we can give it a new name. So we're going to call this query Decatur, Smyrna, Stone Mountain, patients. When you copy and paste, you want to pay attention to the fact that the original one that you copied is the one that is still highlighted. You need to choose the new one before you open it. You want to make sure when you open it, you check the tab up here at the top to ensure that you are changing the correct one. One of the most common mistakes I get on an exam is when people will copy and paste a query, they will change the wrong one. So make sure you double check up here that this is the correct one. And then we're going to go into the design view. So we're going to click the view arrow and choose design view. The first thing I want to do is get rid of the criteria under phone. And then I'm going to scroll over so that I can get to the city field, and I am going to make it larger by dragging that right border over. That way I'll be able to see what I'm typing. They also show that you can click a zoom button and get your screen larger. I don't usually do that. I usually just increase the row size. If you right click, you'll see this zoom here and it opens up a big box that you could use. So you could do that. I usually just increase my column width. So it needs to begin with the word in, and then we're going to open a parentheses. Since these are text fields, we're going to begin by typing the first one in quotes. So you're going to quote Decatur, close the quote. Next, you need the comma to separate the values. And then you need a quote to start the next one, which is Smyrna. These are all cities by Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. Then we're going to put a comma, put another quote, and say Stone Mountain. Close that quote and close the parentheses. Then we're going to go ahead and run our query. What you want to make sure when you run a list of values is that some of every one of those cities pops up. If only 2 of them were being displayed, then you would want to go look for a typing error in that 3rd city that's missing. We're not going to give you a query on an exam that will not bring in any results. So always check the results. We had 3 cities. We want to make sure we have 3 cities listed in our results. And save that query. I like to make it a habit of closing my queries, so I have a fresh workspace when I go to start my new one. And that concludes this segment.